Everyday chat and chart live during the New York session. Here, real traders share the raw truth, their mindset, technical analysis, and execution. This is where real traders show their skill set. Welcome to Tradin TV. This is your stage to shine.
Hello. How are you? How's everyone today? I'm on my own today on the live stream, and I'm bringing a session, a very interesting session to my view. It's about backtesting, and we are going to talk about my understanding on how to backtest properly a strategy, but even more important, how to find a strategy so you can then backtest it. How's everyone? Any trades today for those on the chart? I did take a trade on gold on my personal account, very small trade, but nothing else. Market still very slow today, and I'm expecting the same for tomorrow, the 30th and the 31st, last day of the year, nearly 2026. So probably I'll be back full on charts the 2nd. It's Friday 2nd, and then the next week follow the week after that. So okay, let's go into start. Let me just unplug my mouse from the charging. All right, so hi everyone. Hi CG Trading. Euro usually long in London session. I only trade gold, but yeah, probably gold's been like dropping first bit of the session and then just going up the second bit. I'm on a trade on futures, but not on CFDs or anything. So yeah, we can have a look later to Euro US dollar if you like. But first of all, I'd like you to share my screen. Where's... Okay. Where is... It's not Chrome tab. Okay, bear with me a second. My MetaTrader is not showing, and I needed just to start showing you what we're gonna do today. So, have you ever done backtesting? Now my screen sharing. All right, I think you can see now my chart. Not sure any of you have done a backtest before, like not a professional backtest, but at least an okay-ish backtest, enough just to get by and to start trading a strategy live with enough confidence that this is going to work. So, one said, let me pull my chart to one side and let's start with some theory, some explanations on how and when to, or how to find a strategy, where to start. And then we'll move to, I'm going to show you one of my backtests. So you can, I can prove to you how it's done or how I do it. All right. I think I'm going to stop sharing my one of my windows, and I'm going to share all of it, the entire screen. Bear with me a second. I think I can share window, entire screen, and this is it. So I guess now you can see the entire screen. Do you think gold will go up now? I'm on buys. I'm very close to close a trade. I mean, why my screen is not showing? Okay, let me try again. Entire screen, screen one, share. Can you see the whole screen? No? Why not? Okay, now you can see this is the whole screen. So if I'm moving it around, you can see my whole computer. One of the two screens I have. All right, oh, gold's dropping. I have my target around here. So now it's dropping again, but you can see I started trading around here. I took one entry. Let me show my personal account for a second. Okay, these are the two trades I took today. Very small ones, because when market's very slow, I don't like to rush it. So I was pretty sure gold was able to ramp up a little bit, and so it did, but I don't want to risk it. So as you can see, it's 3 entries. 2 of them, I just closed them on break even. This was the first entry. I was expecting a bit more. Market reacted very well, but I didn't want to wait. And then that was spot on. This was one of my typical entries. I did enter a bit late. The entry was here, at this level here, but the exit was there. So very, very well executed though. All right, so now, as I said, I'm about to, no, maybe it's because I'm on futures. Maybe here, kind of here. Let me check. There, kind of there I have a take profit, all right? And let's go for the session, and then for the backtesting session I have prepared, and then we can go and try to do some real trading on the charts, okay? All right, so let's go. How to backtest a strategy, properly strategy. Can you see? Just a second, I need to make sure everyone's seeing, okay, what I see. Okay. So as the title says, this is a practical and systematic framework for validating ideas, because the first question ever I'm asked is, okay, it's amazing you let us know how to backtest a strategy, but first of all, how am I able, or where, or when, what do I have to do in order to find that strategy to backtest? So it's important to have ideas and then to start validating them. And as always, as most of you already know, I'm a very practical and systematic person, because I don't like leaving anything out of control when my money is at stake, as it is when we are trading live. When we trade demo, it's amazing. I've doubled up accounts so many times because it's easy. There's no stress, there's no fear, no emotions involved. And just watching a possible strategy, just passing on the charts, it's also easy. But putting an idea into a practical thing that you can actually put money in, that's a very different thing. All in all, I'll change the slide in a minute, but all in all, it takes me between 3 and 6 months just to develop a strategy. And it's fair to say, at least I haven't the right number, a specific number on that, but it's very fair saying most, maybe 90%, 95%, 99% of the ideas I have, and I try to convert them into strategies, I fail. So they are not, they don't make the mark. So they don't go through the process I'm going to show you, and they die at some point in the process. So it's very stressful, it's very demanding, and it's a task you have to take it seriously and slow. So, and you have to go step by step. Okay, let's go in. Please, if you have any questions, just put them on the chat. Yeah, just write them down in the chat, and I'll be answering them all, because I plan this to be like not the ultimate back test, of course not, but a fantastic starting point. So if you follow this, I'm pretty sure you will find out strategies. And also, I'll give you a few ideas you can test. And some of them I'm already using and trading them. Okay, let's go. Right, how do I move that? All right, I don't know how. Okay, that's the agenda. So first, and the most important point is how do I find a strategy idea, at least an idea, and then making it systematic. How much data do I have to test, and how do I have to do it? What I'm looking for, and then the last but not least, it's a Monte Carlo simulation. Professional backtest, it's not that. This is only like for amateurs like me or professionals like third regional professionals. This is what I do on my systematic approach to backtesting over and over, and I don't use anything else because market has a variable in which you don't play along with the market. So you don't know, you never know what the market is going to do, and it doesn't matter in order to make some money. But I don't like to make backtesting extremely professional just because, first of all, a matter of time. It will take me even longer to find a nice idea to develop. And second of all, and most importantly, I like it the way I do it because it's professional enough to have nice strategies and then to start testing them on a live trading account. So on a real trading account or a prop firm or things like that, but real money at stake, and then refining the idea as long at the same time that you refine yourself with the strategy, because at some point there's a strategy at some point and in one side and it's you on the other side, and you develop a nice strategy, it's working, but you don't know if it works with you and for you. So at some point you have to start trading real with very low risk and making sure this theoretical thing that you've developed, it works. Not only the strategy, but only your mentality with the strategy. That's why this approach I'm going to give you for free now, it's more than enough to be profitable over the years. Okay, first thing, finding an idea, where ideas come from. And I've highlighted this one, market observations, because it's the one I use. It's the only one I use. I don't know about economic news or anything statistical. I just know a fair amount of it, but not that much. And cross market relationships, I know nothing. So you already know, the ones following me on these live sessions, that I like to focus and to master one thing. The less the less things I have, the better, because then I can focus and master one thing. That's why I only work with market observations. Um, CJ trading, can the same strategy be applied to gold and other pairs, or should each market have its own strategy? That's a fantastic question. Um, I'll develop the answer a little bit more later, but not always all strategies work for every symbol, right? But the idea can work, but not the end result. So let's say we are working gold and Nasdaq. They move differently. So if we work in a strategy with a strategy that works on daily time frame, probably work. The same strategy could work very easily in both gold and Nasdaq. But if we go down to 1 minute, which is my case, in 1 minute, movements are completely different. Or even the DAX in the German index. It's so different that the idea might work, but I have to refine the backtest for every symbol. But in general, the idea should work. If the idea doesn't work, I doubt it'll be convertible in profitable strategy, to be honest. Okay, so great. Trading is hard. It's very hard, farming. It's extremely hard because it's so easy to make money out of trading that this very point make it extremely hard. So market observation, what do I do? Let's move to the charts. I observe the market. First of all, I didn't say that. Oh, just me. You know I can't stay put on a chair for a long time. The first thing is what time frame do you work to have the idea? Because it's not the same working on 1 minute or daily time frame. So that's important. And you have to do that depending on how much time do you have available and free and fully dedicated to trading. So you can observe the market always at the same time. For instance, gold. I've been working with gold for a few years already. 9 a.m. Spanish time, 9 a.m. to 11, 12 p.m., 12 p.m., let's say, Spanish time. All right. That means I see the movements over and over and over, same time window. And this is something you have to do. That's why my strategy works best in the European timeframe within this window, because I've developed the strategy for this window. Does it mean my strategy doesn't work when US is open after 9:30 New York time? Of course it works, but I might have to adapt. Stop losses, risk, of course, that's the main thing I have to adapt if I want to play in the US market, things like that. But the strategy works, of course. But I've seen setups and candle formations over and over at the same space of time. So once we observe something, let's say, okay, I have the idea. I don't know why, but I've seen this pattern, and I'm going to ask you to pay attention to some tips I'm going to give you. And actually, you can develop a strategy from these tips. Can you see this I'm just doing here, right? Okay, so I'll zoom in a little bit so I can imagine I've decided to work 11 Spanish time to 2 o'clock Spanish time. Okay, and I've seen over and over and over the charts you have in front of you over and over and over. Like every time there's gold's dropping, how much? I don't care, but actually you have to see it drops. Okay, it's dropping. And then there's a candle. I won't say a hammer, a morning star, a midday and half day star. I don't mind the names. But I see candles to me are only wicks and bodies. When I see a candle, which a wick, and the wick is at least 1.5 times bigger than the body, what's gold doing afterwards? It's dropping. What's doing afterwards? Well, okay. Okay, I now see the same. Might be that one. What's doing from this point? All right. And if I missed out this point, this is the dropping. What's doing here? Oh, okay. Okay, let's keep going. Maybe that one's a small fall. I wouldn't take this one into consideration, but for the example purposes, I'm going to take it into consideration. But okay, it's falling. Wick is at least 1.5 times bigger than the body. What's doing afterwards? Oh, okay. Interesting. Farming saying in my view, in my own view, strategy works all assets, but that depends on how we act. It's what I say. Strategy has to work everywhere, but you might have to adapt um, to the symbol or the time frame you're working with. All right, okay. What's going on here? I'm not measuring if it's 1.5 actually, but you get the idea, right? I hope you are getting the idea. And once I've seen a pattern, why my mouse not working? I'm sorry guys, my mouse is not, I don't know what's going on. Okay. Shall we try to find more examples? Is this a nice example? Right? There you have it. Okay. And now, okay, and now I see, nice. What Rosa said makes a lot of sense, and this is part of my actual strategy at Gold. How many times has it happened? When? And is it always going on? So first of all is having having a look at the charts and observe the markets, as we said, market observations. Do you know what do I do after doing that? I take screenshots. I'm MetaTrader. At least there's a button up here. You can see on the screen. Yep. And otherwise, Snapit or any other software. And I take pictures of the session and how many entries do I have. You see? And that one's not, but that one is another one. This is around 7, 8 in the morning. We did say we weren't trading. We were trading 11 to 12 or 11 to 2, 9 to 11, 6 to 8, whatever. But you take this time window and you start watching. Clean chart, nothing else, and watch. I used in the beginning when I started gold's falling, Rosa. Yep, yeah, it's falling hard. Yep. Okay. So in the beginning, what I would do is I would select, let's see, my starting trading window that I've said I'm going to work in is from this point to this point. And I would take a snapshot only within my whole time window. 1, 2, 3, 4, how many? 50, 100 screenshots with the idea I have in mind. As you can see here, let's say this is another window. You select the window so you know when your focus and your when you have to stop looking for patterns. This is my window. Okay, and I say, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I do that at least 25, 50 pictures. Why? So I can go over and over on these pictures and see what gold has done. Now there's no volatility. And 2 weeks ago, gold was flying. At any moment in the day, at any moment, it was flying. But I do that. So I can observe the market and say, let's see if I can have an opportunity, an actual strategy here. The answer is yes, because this is part of my strategy. All right. You only plan buys, ma'am? Yes. Yes. On gold, it's only buys. But because I feel more confident, I read the market better than I read when when I should sell. I'm not as professional as I should be on the selling part. That's why I only buy. But if you like selling, you will have to find the same edge that I pointed out here on the sell part. Can you see this same pattern that I was explaining on the sell part? Can you see gold moving upwards and then giving me a fantastic and nice and big wig? You won't. It's not the same. You will at some point, I mean, but not as often as on the right side, on the buy side. You see, it's going up. Maybe this one, but it's a failure. Maybe let's look for some more. This is overnight. This is 4 o'clock. This is Asia. Okay. Maybe this one. Not sure. I don't think it's 1.5, but it could be. Maybe this one. That one here. No, it's not. It's not 1.5. It could be. I'm not sure. Maybe this one. This one for sure. So yes, you can also look for buys and sells. But at gold, it's only buys to me. Okay, so let's go back to the presentation. I know it might be boring, but it's a starting point of finding something profitable. Okay, so then is the question, is this idea testable? Can I apply a rule-based? So can I apply a rule-based? Can I look at historical data? And do I have clear entries and exits or expressible in code? Can I pay someone and tell this person, I want a strategy that does X, Y, Z? Rule-based? Yes, I can. I can ask for at least 50-point drop. Gold has to drop from the minimum, the lower minimum, from this minimum, from this one, has to drop 25, 30, 40. You can change it later, but it's rule-based, 40 pips. And then the wick of my entry has to be 1.5 at least or more, bigger than the body. And does it make any change if it's bullish? Since I want to go bullish, does the candle with the high wick has to be bullish, or it doesn't matter? Okay, but it's rule based. I'm gonna pay attention to all this. Okay, so the entry, it's extremely clear because, the entry is clear because it's when candle closes, when the candle that's giving me the signal closes. So if it's this one, it's here. If it's this one, it's here. When a candle closes, here. Okay, and then the exit, I will have to test it. I will have to do the back test, but it's base rule. This strategy I'm seeing, I'm just determining it's rule based. I don't have to see, okay, but in the case that the wick that is not 1.5, I might move to M5, 5 minutes chart, and then I'll try to find rule based. It has to be coded and it has to be simple. Next step. It's going to, because I have the NinjaTrader open, that's the reason. Okay, so making it systematic, rule-based, and ABCs. It has to be ABCs. So we have to convert this into Asian. I've got 50, 100 pictures of 50, 100 sessions with my idea highlighted in the chart. Okay, let's put rules. Entry conditions at the end when candle closes or when the next candle opens. Exit conditions at least 1-1. Otherwise, I want to make money. And I'll say that as a conditional because my strategy is it's inverse. But we'll talk about it later. G trading, can I apply this on a 5 minutes time frame? Sure, of course. You have to find a strategy that works with your free time, with your available time, with your mentality time. Working in 1 minute accommodates my mind because I'm a very nervous person. in life in general. So I can't sit and stay and wait for hours long for a strategy to come up. I'd like to sit down and have a few setups while I'm sitting. So yes, you can do that. I think if gold drop below, okay, I'll analyze gold later. It's not boring. Keep it coming, ma'am. Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot for this comment. Um, so we have to move from intuition. Okay, I think it might work. I've seen this. I've seen gold doing this many times. Okay, how many times? Do you have screenshots? No. Okay, come back when you have the screenshots. Now we have it. Let's start defining. Exit conditions, we'll define it later because I'll show you how. Filters. I don't use filters. Volatility, trend, time is the only filter I use, time, but no volatility. I should. It might work, but I don't. Not my strategies doesn't use volatility because since it's always the same time frame, I know what's the volatility or during the London session. Maybe one day out of 10, volatility is higher or lower than my average. But life is hard. That's it. So it's like 1 out of 10, it's fine. Risk model, I don't work with that. That's why I'm telling you. And trade management, we'll talk about it later. So, measurable components, systematic, rule based, intuition into rules, measuring components, setup, signal, trigger. You have to have a clear vision of what you are going to start backtesting. Because once you start backtesting on the Excel spreadsheet, you won't be able to change it. You can't change your mind like, oh, no, 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 no. Now it's not M5. Now I'm going to do it in M1. Now it's not on candle close. It's whenever. Now you can't change the rules. Otherwise, you won't be able to measure. Okay. Let's see examples. And now I'm going to show you stuff that no one has seen before. I'm going to start for something simple, okay? And then I'll find one of my strategies and the numbers, some of the numbers. What market hours or sessions you always do trades? Not farming. I do 9 for gold. If I'm talking gold, it's 9 to 5. 9 to 5. No, no. It's 9 to 11 Spanish time, which I don't know where you're from, but you can Google 9 a.m. to 11 or 12. Let's put 12. 9 a.m., 12 p.m. Spanish time. I don't usually trade the US session on gold, but if I do, it's maybe 4 p.m. Spanish time. I give it some space just to breathe because the opening is very volatile. 3:30, 4 p.m. Spanish time until the market closure. But that doesn't, I'm never trading that many hours. I'm usually trading European session. That's all. Why? Because there's volatility enough for me. It's not crazy like in the US market, and I only need a couple of hours, 3 hours top to make money. If I don't make money in 2 hours, I won't make money in 8 hours. That's my like my mantra. And because it's 1 minute, I need to be extremely concentrated on what I'm doing. So I try to minimize the time the exposing time in front of the computer. All right. Okay. So let's see some examples. Just a second. Y is here. And bear with me. Okay, here. So I have over 400 images because I'm backtesting something already. I'm always backtesting something. But now I'm gonna show what I'm talking about. This is just an example, all right? But it's a real example. So it's an example, but it's a real example. There you have it. I'm going to show you all this. Don't worry about it. Let's start with this one. Okay, so what I'm talking about is I have a spreadsheet. Can you see, right? Okay, I have a spreadsheet with the trade number 1234. This is backtest. This is not real trades. I'm backtesting an idea. The day and the month. This is one of the real. This is backtested already, but I have 300 more rows I've deleted. It's not deleted. It's just a new template, so you don't see the results here. But it's the day, month, the year, broker time. So I can go back to my broker, look at that time, and that there is when I should have the entry signal. Okay, if it's buy or sell, and now this is part of my goal strategy. So everything I'm showing here is extracted from real data, from real knowledge and real data and real examples. It's not real. I mean, this strategy, I'm just using it in my real account. So that means it's just part of it. It's a small version, but there you have it. So stop loss, my stop loss, and I'm going to give you an example here. Let me just go back to the charts. Okay, so stop loss. It's measured in pips because it's for CFDs, and it's the prior low, the lower low. So let's say if my entry it's here, let's assume it's this one, ¿vale? I'm measuring this one, that one. The lower low is this. And so I measure it in pips and I write down, in that case, 39. This is from another entry, of course, but it doesn't matter. I would put 39. Okay? Max TP. These columns are the key to then mixing them up, making some formulas, and then extracting what a profitable strategy looks like. So what if I want to measure, if I want to start measuring this strategy here, what would I do? I would measure the stop loss. Okay, because it's the easy one. That's easy. I would measure how far is it gone to my favor from my entry. How far? Without touching break even. How far? There. 290 pips. Without touching my break even. What's the max total pips? And in this case, it's the same. But let's assume the entry is here. Let's do that. Let's assume this is just for the purpose, for trying to explain you what do you have to have in these columns. Apart from stop loss, let's assume you have that much, sorry, that. So stop loss, 22, max to my favor before coming back to my entry point. What this measure is important to me because I work on 1 minute and I do multiple entries usually, but maybe this strategy I'm backtesting doesn't allow multiple entries. What do I do then? Nothing. I'm just measuring. But if I measure how long did the price go to my favor before going back to break even, when I have 1,000 of these, I can tell you, because I've done some formulas, the average movement on my entries is 50 pips. After that, price can go back to the entry point, to the stop loss, or it can fly forever. If that's the case, in any scenario, I can decide to apply a break even. But when to apply this break even, the numbers will give me the exact amount of pips, or the average, or the more appropriate to me, right? That's why, wow, gold. Okay, we'll work with gold afterwards. So it went to my favor 40 pips, and then it went back to my entry point. All right. So in this case, it would be 40 pips I set, then went back to my entry point, and then before hitting stop loss, it's not the case, but it might drop, it might went up 70-ish points. I don't know. Did it take stop loss? Yeah. But again, why did I decide to put the stop loss here? Let's go back to this one. Why did I decide that? Based on what? Do I know more than anyone else? Nope. So why here? Why not here? Or here? Or here? Or here? I don't know. Since I don't know, as a starting point, I'll define this as a stop loss. I'm gonna make it a bit like 2 lines there. I'll define that as a stop loss, but I don't know. And again, the numbers will give me the solution, the answer. Okay, I'll reply the questions in a minute. Let me finish these points or I'll lose the track. So, did it take my, let's go back to this one. This is the stop loss. It did take my stop loss. Okay, but after touching my stop loss, for how long it kept, in this case, going down? Only 12 pips. Did you understand that? So I'll write down what's the max recovery. 12 pips. That means it touched my stop loss, it went down 12 more pips, but then it went up 1,000 pips. If this is a pattern that, because I have the stop at the lower low and I could expand my stop loss by 20 points more, 30, 40, 50, whatever is the average, I'll have more winning trades. That means I need to let breathe the price a little bit. That's statistics I need. Then I'll do the maths, but I have to have them all in columns. And then I use an EMA. This is the 200 EMA. You have it here. Well, it's in Spanish, but it's the EMA, exponential moving average 200. It's under or over. I just lost an account because of this falling. Let me close then Ninja Trader, so I'm more focused on what I'm saying here. So everyone says if price is under 200 EMA, you should only sell, and if it's over EMA 200, you should only buy. Why? That's the question. Why? So I measure where is price when it's giving me the signal, and then not after 10 but after 1,000 backtests, rows, and entry signals tested, I'll say it doesn't matter, cold doesn't matter for this strategy if it's under or over the 200 EMA, right? Same with stochastics. I always like, and you know that I work with stochastics. I have one stochastic for one time frame, same time frame looking different things, two stochastics, 3, 4, whatever. So you have to have everything in place. And I'll show you another backtest in a minute. And then some comments, and then the images. These are all real images I've deleted. Okay. But this is the image. So I have an image for this setup. I have an image for this setup, have an image same, okay? Because I have to be in control of what everything's doing. And okay, goals reaching out, just to not overload this. Let me, just a second. I'm gonna put that here just to not overlook that. And okay, goals going back to 43,000. That's my guess. It doesn't mean today, right? But unless it's going back up very rapidly, we'll see gold doing that. Okay, I'm going to answer some of the questions. How many trades do I take every day? One or two. I have more trade setups, but not for taking more trades. I'm more profitable. And I've been um, measuring this. It was 6 months, could be 4 6 months, where I was taking all the setups I could, and it didn't make me more profitable. So that's why I stick to one entry, through entries. That's it. Regardless of the losses or winnings, I'm done for the day. Do you go market daily ranges of an asset to get in? No, I don't pay attention. I only pay attention to M1. That's it. It's my only focus. Okay. So where were we? Here. I don't know where we were. Okay, here. So in this case, I only have these ones, but in some of the strategies, this is a small version to the actual strategy. That's true. But for the strategy I'm going to show you in a bit, which is a Nasdaq strategy, I measure many things. Also, because I'm counting in pips, I then translate that into ratios, winning ratios like 1, 1, 1.5, 2, 3, 4, right? So I don't take into considerations, I don't measure. Okay, I want this strategy to be 1 to 3. You don't measure that. You measure how many pips went to your favor before touching stop loss or break even, and then you have to be in control if after doing that, touching your stop loss, just by a few pips, it went up again. Because if that's the case, in many occasions, you are struggling the price. You're not letting the price breathe. So you have to um, uh, make up a little bit more the stop loss. How long? The formulas will give you the answer. Okay, let's go back to the presentation. So, position sizing and stop target will be defined after we have enough data to start making some formulas and to have some numbers to crunch. We have to be able to crunch some numbers, but reliable numbers. Then, okay, how much data? So you have seen my spreadsheet, and I'm going to show you the NASDAQ one. NASDAQ. This one here. This is over 2,000. But I'm going to give you where's the data? There. Just a second. Oh no, this is not. Sorry. Drive. Just a second. Now. All right. I'm gonna show you something. Okay. It's in Spanish, but I'll translate it. Okay. This is real. Boom. Trade number, month, day of the week, the whole date. Time, I don't mind the time because at Nasdaq it's always 2 hours window, so I'm not interested. And I don't think, because it's M1, 1 minute time frame, that this is going to change. Numbers are going to be roughly the same. But at some point, I started taking into consideration the time, specific time, because there's one time where probabilities are up to 75%. Okay? Session, morning or afternoon. I started doing Nasdaq sessions, Europe and US, and then I moved on because the numbers weren't reliable at all, doing only the US session. But this is from the beginning. Okay? Sell or buy, breakout or re-entry, it's what I call to my strategy. Distance to my zone, original distance, accommodated distance, pullbacks 50%, TPs, it's giving me the half of the TP, 1 TP, it comes back a 50% retracement after the first TP, after point half of the TP, after the second TP. So this, everything, what I measure, R or TP1. Over TP11, data wasn't reliable either. I mean, yeah, not an edge. So I just stopped. And then I calculate many things here, and some things you can't see, which is enough. But then I have another spreadsheet with all the crunching numbers, all the formulas and everything. And going back to the slide, how much data do I have to test? What I do is I usually test between 50 and 100 trades. Most of them are, first of all, it's visible, and then I keep a copy of I do a screenshot, right? That's what I said. Then once I've defined the Excel, the spreadsheet, and then I know the columns I'm gonna pay attention to, I do 50 or 100 trades whenever. Last week, last month, I don't mind. Just pick a starting point and do 50 entries or 100, and then I analyze the data. If the numbers are not crazy, I mean extremely bad, and when I say bad, with 100 trades, my strategy doesn't have to be profitable. So bad doesn't mean it's not profitable. It could be bad numbers, and I'll still keep backtesting the data. Why? Imagine I'm working on 1 minute and I take 3 or 2 trades a day. 2 trades a day, 20 days, it's 40 trades. If I've backtested 50 entries, it's a month not being profitable. What's the problem? Not being profitable within a month. And within 2 months, fine. So if I test 100 trades, it's like 2 months and a half, 2 months ish. Even if the strategy is not profitable, the back test, I might keep adding trades to the back test. Why? Because I don't know if I started on a bad moment in the market, or it's just one of the many drawdowns I'm going to have, or it's a shitty strategy. When then do I stop backtesting a strategy if after 50 or 100 trades, when I consider after 50 trades or 100 trades, it's a shitty strategy. When I've lost my account. If I say, no, it's not only that I'm not winning, it's that nothing's clear. So the profit factor is not over 0.7. The expectancy, it's just rubbish. The winning ratio is rubbish again. So usually, like maybe, I don't know, nearly 100% of my backtested strategies go through the second stage, through the second step. Then I backtest between 100 and 300 more entries. So I already have around 400, 500. And then at that point, it's the no go point. If after 300, my numbers don't start crunching in, like, well, that's adding up. That's maybe not 100% profitable yet, but it's like on break even, then I stop this idea. Okay. Usually they always pass this second step, and then the third step, step 3, not second. Here, step 3, then I do up to 1,000 backtested trades. Okay, but it's important to do something, and it's extremely important to not do, let's say, for instance, 2025. I don't analyze the whole year, because maybe this year gold's been up like crazy. Let's assume that. Even working in 1 minute, my probabilities of being right if I'm only buying are extremely high. So I might take January 25, then I backtest March 25, then August, because people are on holidays, it's a low volatility time, or I think so, August, and then maybe December, the whole December, and I don't know, November, let's say. And then I go back to 2024, and then I do January and December. January, August, and December are usually months I always take into backtest, because it's lower volatility in general. And then I do April, I do June, January, August, December, and I do October, right? And then I move to 23 and I do the same. I don't do months in a row. Do you understand? That's why I always keep months without testing. And if everything goes to plan, then I'll go back when I think, oh, that strategy is going to give me money. If I follow the strategy, it's a good strategy, I'm going to put it in real money. You stop. Then I go back and then I back test what people say out of sample. Okay, out of sample data. Okay, so that's what I mean by taking different market periods. If I work in 1 minute, I don't need to go back to 2018. But the market was down at it's 1 minute time frame. If scalpers or intraday master, if there's something at all that we master, is like, I don't know the expression in English, but it's called like changing your jacket or your hat. You're buying, you're selling, you're buying, you're adapting. You are adapting, continuously adapting. So it doesn't make any sense to me backtesting 2018. Sometimes, just to make my strategy go through very difficult periods, I do COVID. 1, 2, 3 months on COVID, but that's it. Because it's 1 minute, and in 1 minute, all strategies have to be adapted over and over and over, not changed, but adapted, which it's very different. Okay, Now, well, I've been talking for an hour already, so just a second. Well, you can, I love talking, as you might see now. Um, so what to look for? What I'm looking for on my when I crunch the numbers and I do all the formulas and I try to accommodate what the data is telling me, what I'm expecting, what key metrics I'm expecting. Win rate, but it's not the most important because I don't mind working with a win rate with inverse or negative win rate. Okay, expectancy, that's for sure. Average are multiples. Some people pay attention to that. There's more than that. This is just a few I've selected. What do I look for? What I'm very obsessed with is a max drawdown. So what's the worst drawdown I found out? Or is my strategy giving me, like, is it 15% of my account? And then I think, am I going to be able to maintain that mentally? Is it something I can work with when it's going to happen? Yeah, but it's never going to happen. It's very difficult. Gold's always nice. Forget about it. It's going to happen. And if the backtest says it's going to happen a 15% drawdown, I multiply times two. So it's a 30% drawdown. Can I work with that? Yes, I can. Okay. How often max drawdowns happen? Not only the worst drawdown, but how often? Because it's not the same having a 15% drawdown in 3 years, like having a 15% drawdown every other month. Even at the end, you have 4 months in a row with amazing profit. But why it's important? It's not about the number. It's about, am I ready to engage with these numbers? Of course not. So the strategy can be super profitable, but having a max drawdown, like 15% of the account every 3 months, I'm sorry, but this strategy is disregarded to me. I can't work because my mind won't be able to sustain this pressure. And at some point, when you work with a rule-based strategy, a systematic strategy, you are all the time thinking, my strategy says so. It's like saying my wife what my wife says. Okay, so this is the same for strategy. You all the time are, my strategy will work because the numbers say so. The numbers say so. But what happens if the numbers are at 15% drawdown every other month or every 3 months? How often are you trust month after month on this max drawdown? Extrapolate that to a personal relationship, for instance. And I'm talking about personal relationships because when you are betrayed, it hurts, right? And how many times can you be betrayed for someone on someone and keep going? Same with a strategy. So max drawdown is what will define over profit factor, expectancy, or win rate if I work with a strategy or not. Okay. And the second number, that's why I are in bold, is number of continuous losses. What's the average? So in average, I lose 2 losses in a row. Okay, fine, amazing. And what's the average of winning trades? Okay, so the average losing is 2 trades in a row, and the average winning is 5. Wow, I win more than I lose. Great. It agrees with my personality. Fine. But what's the maximum? Because I also have to expect the maximum. Maximum is 33. And how often do they happen? It's not only when, but how often. Once in 5 years, okay, I can work with that. Once or twice a year, 15 losses in a row. Wow, my risk management is going to be spotless if I want to make this strategy profitable. But Rosa, you said this strategy is already profitable. Yes, the strategy it is, but not me. Understand? Not me. I don't trust myself. I trust the numbers, but am I able to trust the numbers when hard times come in and knock at the door and say, hello, I'm a super drawdown and you're going to hit your maximum losses in a row. You're ready for that? Put your seatbelt in and get ready for the party. I won't. So, even being super profitable, I'm not ready to take that strategy in. Okay? And as I said before, when everything matches up and I'm happy with this relationship, because it's a relationship, a strategy, and me are going to be in a long time relationship from now on. I have so many relationships, so many strategies. So I have to feel comfortable with the strategy. And when I'm super comfortable, the test, the real test, the final test, I go back and then I analyze periods I haven't analyzed before. Okay? And if everything's fantastic, then what? Rumbles. If everything's fantastic, I'm not done yet. Then I go through my Monte Carlo simulation because what if, because market's so nice lately and it's behaving properly and it's being very nice to me, for any reason I've picked up the nicer trades. But what about, I don't know if any of you knows what's a Monte Carlo simulation. I used to work, let me just move around a little bit and have a sip. So I've worked with Monte Carlo many years when I managed in the UK very large projects, over 200 people under me worldwide, and I had to run Monte Carlos to spot leaking points at my projects. The projects I did plan, but even planning my own projects, I'm probably wrong at some points, and I have to detect these leaks. So they are leaks and not big holes in the project. So I used to run very serious Monte Carlos just to make sure, planning worldwide, different time schedules, different religions, different laws, different cultures, they are all working nice together. And going back to trading, what's simple, because I use simple Monte Carlos now, I don't need that much now, but what a Monte Carlo does, the Monte Carlo simulations, the purpose of that is understanding the range of possible outcomes. So let's assume my strategy is 60% win ratio and I'm going 1-to-1. One risk for one profit. Okay? I'm risking or winning the same amount. And in average is 60% ratio. Okay, I could have 3 winnings and 1 loss. Let's assume that, right? Let's say 75, doesn't matter. Okay, I could win 3 times and 1 lose, or I could win 1, lose 1, and then 3 winnings, or I could lose 1, 3 winnings later on, or 2 winnings, 1 lose, and 1 win. So same result, different combinations of the results, just to make the definition easy. Okay, right. So it randomizes trade sequence. So it takes your trades, your back-tested trades, and then it starts moving around the trades. So the first one goes second, the second goes fifth, the fifth goes 1,000 positions underneath, and it moves around. Okay, that's real trades. That's it's not real trades, but it's real back testing. So it happened in the past. It's taking the results and moving the order. Okay. Also, you can do some very, very complex Monte Carlos. There's software for that. You don't have to do it, but um, slippage cost, even commissions, play around with commissions, volatility. It can be extremely difficult or complex, and it can be easy. The only one I use is the random of my sequences. Okay, that's it. And it generates many, many, many equity curves. So many results, same trades, different positions, many results. I'm going to show you so you can see how do I work. Okay. Okay. With that, what I'm looking for when I run a Monte Carlo, everything was perfect. But are you sure what's the Sir Monte Carlo saying? It's not a person. Well, it was a person, but it's not a person. It's just the name of the test. Probability of ruin. How many times if I do 1,000 scenarios, same results, 1,000 scenarios, so 1,000 times I've moved around the results. What's the probability of ruin? What's the probability of blowing up my account? It has to be so, so, so small. Otherwise, I won't take this strategy in my portfolio. And when I say small, I don't give you a number because to me, small could be 2%. For some people, 2% is just crazy high probability. It has to be 0.3%. Okay. But you have to understand it's very probable, even being profitable, your strategy, it might not perform as you are expecting. It's not as easy as saying, okay, if I have $1,000 and it's 60% probability, I will end up with no, because you might have all the losses in the beginning and then the wins in the end. So the equity curve differs, okay? And then the confidence intervals. You see where's the drawdowns, how many, where, um, how often, things like that, okay? Right. I'm going to show you now the Monte Carlos, and then this will be the end of the presentation. Then we're going to trade, right? So then if Monte Carlo says you are ready to go, everything's fine, then you, of course, start trading live, not demo, no forward testing, real live trading with very small risk. Why? Because everything you've done after 6 months, everything you've done there is just paper. And paper supports every single lie you want to tell. You don't know if, even if it's on paper, you are going to be able to manage, to support, to face everything that paper says. Because one thing is what someone says, and another very different is what you are able or capable to upfront, confront, challenge, manage, face, etc., etc. That's why I like trading it real and start, like I always say, like working together, dancing together, the strategy, the market, and myself. Why? Because these feelings in here, they're not on the paper. So paper is perfect, but not me. Me, I'm quite different, right? Me or any other trader, you know. So it's important to mix them together and start working, starting the journey, small profit, small risk, and small everything, just to take confidence and keep growing from that moment. And I can Streamlabs, the software we're using. I see something that's face red heart shape, but I don't know what it is. I understand it's an emoji, but I don't know which one. Okay, I'm gonna show you the Monte Carlos. Um, I'm going to just a second. I'm going to hide some information here. Okay. And this is one way to do Monte Carlos. You can go to Chat GPT, Copilot, any of these IA websites, and ask them to make you a Monte Carlo. I've got some as well, but they're very easy. I don't use the professional ones. I don't feel like it. To be honest, I don't need it because, as I said, paper is fine, but we've done our job and now it has to be tested on real market, period. Okay, so now I'm going to show you something. You ready? Okay. This is top of the notch. That's not, just all right. Okay. I'm gonna just delete data that I don't know even what's here. This is real, all right? This is real. So I'll show you another Monte Carlo in a minute. Each column here, you see this like these sections here. These are, each one is 1,000 trades. Okay, let's go back to the 1,000 here. This is 1,000 trades each, and there is 30. So 30 is from here to here. So every time I'll do Control plus R, is going to represent me the Monte Carlos, okay? The worst scenario and the best scenario of 1,000 trades times 30. 30,000 trades in total every time. So now I've done 1,000. Now you can see 30. 30 combinations with 1,000 trades each combination. 30 combinations. Worst scenario, and I've hidden some things here. This is the balance. This is 1-1 win ratio, and this is my my winning ratio. Okay. So what's the scenario? You can see it here. I'm gonna delete that because honestly, that doesn't. So minimum 32,000, 49,000. Okay, right. So I'm starting with a Control R. Control R. Again, you see the numbers changing on this and also the chart. The chart is more visual. I'll show you a standard Monte Carlo. This is not standard, but still. So is there any losing trade? No. So now it's been 30, and now that I've changed another 30, so it's 60 simulations. Now it's 90. It's simulating. You see the bullet points just changing around. 90, 120. I do that because I use Google Sheets. If I like to run thousands of actual simulations, it stops working. So that's why I do it this way. But hey, 120 simulations, not a single lose for now. Who knows? Most of the trades, most of the simulations are always between 40,000 and 60,000. All right? Keep going. Again, 130. 150. You see? Bullets are changing. Now it's 180. And there's always in the middle. Why? Because my strategy, this real strategy that I'm showing, is well contained. Okay, that's what I like. I like, yeah, in some scenarios, I don't win as much money as I should, but it's all contained between 40 and 60,000. All right, per account. Per account. Okay, now I'm going to show you something else. I'm going to show you a regular Monte Carlo. Okay, presentation is done. gold's doing its thing, and no one have seen that ever before. So okay, bear with me a second. Hmm. Why is not? Maybe it's here. No. But should I have it, right? Okay, here. I think it's that one. Just bear with me a second. Data is charged. Okay, fine. It did it. Gonna. Ooh. Okay. Boom. Easy Monte Carlo. Very easy, but it's what I use. This one or the other one you've seen before. Okay. So initial balance, 1,000 euros, pounds, dollars, whatever. Risk per trade, 3%. Winning ratio, 60%. Number, all these numbers comes from the backtest, okay? Number of trades, 500. After 500, that means we go 500 trades down below, okay? Why not 1,000? Because it's a Google Sheets. It stops working, so I have to do it this way. But it doesn't matter. Number of simulations, 54. So every time I'll do CTRL plus R, you see the numbers in, and you see the chart changing. It'll do 50 simulations more. Okay? Okay, how many times? Now I see that. Is there any combination that I'm losing? No. And after I do this Monte Carlo series like 20, 50 times, doesn't matter. If you are bored, you keep Control R many times. And at some point, it might be one or two that loses, but in general, all make profit. How much profit? Oh, I'm going to be super rich, $60,000 in 1 year, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but the average amount is in here. It's around 20,000. So, how much are you going to expect from this strategy? 20,000 euros starting from 1,000. If you don't think that's amazing, that's very conservative though. But that's for professionals. It's defined. I mean, the numbers are backed up by the data in the back test, and the data in the back test is like God in the sense of if I don't follow the exact rules that my strategy says, I won't get to these numbers. Okay, so all this is based on what a paper says, and paper don't talk. We just read. It means it's not real until you make it real. So it's important to have this into consideration. But every time I do Control R, all right, okay, it's another chart. Can you see how it changes? Look, that one, it was profitable, but now it's a bit down. So it's Control R is not working here. Okay, I'll keep adding numbers randomly. It's just every time it refreshes. Okay, now you see in the image, previous image, I had one strategy like coming down at this point. Well, it's only 500 trades. What if I keep adding trades up until 1,000? Will it be the same trading result? It's as easy as copy this Monte Carlo made by this ear thing. I did it on Copilot, I think. So just to prove it can be done very easily. Again, another one. Another result and another result. You see, you don't pay attention to the numbers because they're right. It's only numbers are just changing the results. The Monte Carlo changes. Are we going to hit ever 75,000? It's one of the scenarios, but where is the majority of the results allocated? Here. And another bunch in here. So we could expect around 20,000 to be conservative. If you end up winning 1,000, that's fantastic. But that's not how you interpret Monte Carlo. You always have to be ready for the worst. And then if the best happens, just take it. But get ready for the worst. You see, I'm just updating. I could update the spreadsheet and also add numbers here just randomly. Control R, I don't know what's not working. I think it's because of the formula I used in here. Okay, so you see, right? Okay, this is the end of the presentation. And gold is already at 43.90. I said I'm expecting gold 43.10. 43.10. I don't know if you've liked it, the presentation regarding backtesting, but you can leave your comments, questions, and I'll try to answer them all. Let's see. Bear with me a second. I'm going to analyze gold. Oops. Okay. Right. Let me delete everything so I don't have. Let me delete that. All right. We should have gone up. Okay. This is my personal account. I'm gonna trade it if I find a nice setup. But keep saying, oh, it's dropping again. Okay, I keep saying it's going to hit 10.62. Let me update this level. Let's see where my crystal ball, magic crystal ball, 43.15, 43.15, 43.15. This is it. Are any of you on any trades? Let me delete that. 43.15. It's halfway. So if it hits 43.16, I expect a reversal. That's amazing how it's dropping. Amazing. Okay. My coffee is cold, by the way. I just started talking. I couldn't stop. Honestly, there's so much I'd like to share for not only for prop firms, but also for personal accounts. Because at the end, if you know how to trade a personal account, it doesn't matter if a prop firm changes rules or anything, you can still use them. Of course, why not? They are fantastic to work with, but you will always know how to be profitable. And I'm not thinking prop firms are going to disappear anytime soon. No, of course not. But they will changing rules to accommodate to laws and and different things. Of course, I mean it's a business to them, and it has to be a business to us as well. And you know, I'm working with funding pips, right? And also funding ticks, and that's it. That's I don't have any more time because I showed you one of my Monte Carlos, and I'm working with that. And thanks to doing the right things, I'm able. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Diane. Love this session. Thank you, actually, because it's been myself talking for nearly an hour and a half. And I've enjoyed so much because talking about trading is like, finally, I can talk about trading. I can't talk about trading with anyone, not my friends, not even my family, because they stare at me without blinking, and they might think, what is she talking about again? And why should we listen? So, it's very lonely. And not being able to talk about your passion, this is hard as well. So, what I was saying is, thanks to doing everything that I've taught on this backtesting session and the Monte Carlo as well, I've realized so many times maths have been on my side. Having profitable strategies and easy to follow step-by-step strategies, and I haven't paid enough attention, or even I have disregarded these strategies because I wasn't able to understand how big this strategy was. And now I'm doing the opposite. I'm just trusting the numbers, and I'm stop trusting what I have think what I have here. No, I mean, I'm not stop trusting because I've been many years on the business, but I mean, trusting what the paper says, and it's going so much well, that I'll keep doing it, and I'll keep posting if it's been a good decision or no. So yeah, gold's okay. Let's gonna. I'm just waiting for a setup, and the setup should be formed in a few minutes, not over 15 minutes, less than 15 minutes. I have something already, but I don't trust it. Not yet. Oh, there's nothing worse than cold coffee. Okay, now it's reversing. Okay, can you please see what I've said before regarding the strategy? You see that? You see that? And again, you see that? That's a okay, that's a lose. That's a loss, okay? Win, win. Nope, nope, nope. Another one here. Oh God, you might start understanding how do I work with gold, right? And here to here, it's around 60 pips. I'm always looking between 20 and 50 and 40. 90, over 90. Hello, over 100. Over 160. Yeah, it's not difficult to find a strategy, but it's not easy let's say, this is not a losing trade, okay? But let's say you do that. This, when you hear after 4th losses, you won't be able probably to take this one. And this one, rakatra, recovers everything. That's why I do multiple trades, and then I'll start closing 20 points, 40 points, 60 points, 80 points. Yeah, because I don't know how long the price is going to take me. But managing this, when you hear, assuming they're not losing trades, but we are just assuming, when you hear and price keeps falling, you say, no way I'm going to enter this one. No way. Oh, that was a good one. Oh my God. Am I going to enter after this candle? No way. Yeah, again, no way. 150. But it keeps falling. And then people ask me, why do I enter long on a falling gold? Because I'm not on the falling side. It's not, my strategy is not this. This is just part of the strategy. But can you see how it performs on, oh my God, gold's falling. Wow, 900 pips, 900 pips for the last hour, 900 pips, and I've been buying profitable all the time with a loss. That one, up, that's a loss. That one's a loss. That's not a loss because I was able to move to break even and have some profits. And I'll keep doing that over and over. And you could, don't trust me on that one. Well, never trust anyone, to be honest. Not even me. Just go and do it yourself. That's a loss. That's probably a loss. 26, let's count it as a loss. Doesn't matter. Oop. So that one, I see nothing. Okay, that's a loss. And let's count this one. It's 26. I break even at 20, but doesn't matter. Okay? Good one, good one. Right? And wow, that's good one, right? That's why it is 21 partial, 41 partial, 61 partial, 81 partial, and I leave runners, just in case it does that. Not this, it doesn't mind here, just that. Okay, so on a falling knife, try to spot on when it's working. But I haven't been able to do it on the selling side, so I'm not able to sell. If you try to find this pattern on the selling side, you won't be able. Gold's dropping 43.15, 43.15. High RZZ RR. You don't. It's not an easy name, right? Hi Rosa, I'm from India. How are you? I'm alright. I'm exhausted, by the way, but I'm alright. Happy to talk. You see, just wait and keep waiting. That's why you only need a couple of trades a day. You don't need to be in front of the computer all day long, just waiting for so many entrances. You don't need many entrances. You need one or two. Risk a certain amount of your balance in which you feel confident and strong mentally, being able to support and to face a drawdown that we were talking earlier. And you'll be profitable for life in real accounts. It keeps falling. It's going directly. $43.15, 42.83. I'm going to mark it down here. 43.15 and kind of 40. I don't see it. Oh my god, I need new glasses or less age. 42, 33, 20-ish. It's a little bit over, but it's fine. Well, there. Oops. 42, 30. I'm gonna copy so I have the same values in the two screens and I'm not tricking anyone, because it's important. And now it'll get there. I'm not selling. Okay, all done. Is anyone in a trade actually? Okay. Just mark down. Are you seeing my screen, by the way? Okay, yes. Okay. Just write down these two levels in here. So I'm reading the chat. Anyone having on a trade today? Maybe selling gold? Okay, no one. I think checking my crystal ball. I should have bought it there. I should have. Always should have. Anyway, it wasn't a good setup on this one. You can see this one, right? But can you see how it works? What I'm saying, 1.5 bigger the wick than the body in a downtrend and going longs on gold 1 minute. And you can apply that to 5 minutes, of course. If it breaks above this point, it might seem like a change of structure or break of structure. I don't know how they call it, but and it can go up again, of course. But I think between today and tomorrow we're going to hit these two levels, and I'm saying tomorrow because there's low volatility. I might be wrong, of course. Anyway, I'm not selling, so I'm just waiting for opportunities on the buy side. And so here, this is my personal account. And here, I'm going to remove this. That was a nice one. It's broken a mini resistance. there. Still can go up around here, more or less. Let's see, this is M5. For the ones asking, gold's dropping all day long, and I've managed to take the 2 entries. And look at look at M5. Look. Is it nice? The same strategy I was talking about. Strategy idea. You have to develop it. Maybe that one. Not sure about this one. Okay. You see? How do you think it's working on a downtrend? Just being able to trade upwards. And yeah, some people can say stop loss could be 170 points. That's fine. 170 points. And so it's not a 1-1 ratio, but that's why I take partials. Because I never know when the price is going up like crazy again or when it's going down as crazy again. And actually, I don't think people know, anyone. Experts might have better information than retailers have, that's for sure. And they can predict what the market is going to do better than we do, but not excellent. Do you understand? It's like otherwise they'll bet full houses, families, even the dogs, just to a trade. If they really knew, they have better chances, that's for sure. No questions. But still, there's variables regarding market direction or volatility or news or I don't know, or richest people just jumping in the market. I don't even know actually. So there's always a percentage of uncertainty. It seems like it's dropping. It's below the level again. Not sure. That was an M5. That was an M5. Yeah, that was M5. You see, when I move to M5, you see, yeah, this is M5. Okay, it's falling down below. Again, there's more resistance. And it might keep dropping. If it drops 36 points, 62 from where it is now, 62 points to the level I've discussed. I think it's very reachable within this trading session. I'm going to put the level on this chart again, because if I see the opportunity and I'm in the charts, I'll jump in. No questions. On a buy. Maybe here. There. These are the two levels again, okay? Yeah, nothing for now. It's stuck. So it gave me signal in M5 and in M1. This is M1, and I'm just refining the M5 signals that gave me, right? So, any clues on that? That means market's fractal. And I can refine my entries. That's why I don't look at M5. Okay. All right, guys, I think I'm leaving. I think it's all for today. Market keeps dropping a little bit. I was waiting for an opportunity. I missed that one, wasn't sure. It was part only of my strategy. So I was waiting for my strategy to form. It didn't happen, so I didn't jump in the market. I'm pretty sure it's going to reach the levels 43.15 and 42.80 ish. Let me check here. It's clear. Let me close on that one. 43.15, 42.83 at this moment. So depending on how market's moving, these levels are within a personalized EMA I have. So it changes, but roughly these two levels are going to be hit within today or tomorrow, based on what time is it now. It's nearly 4. Okay, so guys, thank you very much for being here. I hope see you this week or the next one. If we don't see you this week, have a nice 2026 entry and Happy New Year. All right, bye-bye. Bye.